All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We're going to give everyone just another minute or so to get logged in. So we'll get started here in just a moment. Hope everyone's having a good evening or late afternoon, wherever you're located. All right. All right, let's get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually turn off my webcam. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Faye Callista, and I'm the instruction librarian here at the Chicago campus. I've been with the library for almost 2 years, but I've been working with students for almost, I think, 20 actually years. So nice to meet all of you. So let me turn off the webcam. I'll turn it on again when we get through the material and we have questions at the end. So turn that off. All right, so let's get started. A few things before we launch into the webinar is if you have any questions at any point, feel free to raise your hand or type your question. I'll sort of monitor that throughout the webinar. But if you want to hold your questions till the end, that's fine as well. I will leave plenty of time at the end for any questions that you may have. Also, this webinar is being recorded. So, if you have to leave early or, if you want to view it later, it will be emailed to you within, I think, within 24 hours of the conclusion of the webinar. So, does anybody have any questions before we get started? All right. So I thought, before I kind of show you, or before we get into, the library resources, I thought I would take a quick poll. So let's see here. I'm going to, so just a second, let me set up here. Okay. If you go to menti.com, you can enter the code that you see on the screen. It's totally anonymous. It's just a place where you can post. What do you find most difficult or frustrating about finding articles or even other resources for your research? And I'll give you a few minutes you can put more than one answer if you'd like. So again, you could go to menti.com and enter the code 51405912. All right, so we've got a few responses here. So some people find it difficult to find the right keywords. Worried that you haven't checked all the right databases? Absolutely. Too many results. Finding an article but only having access to the abstract. Wish you could narrow down to certain subjects with less steps. Absolutely. Multiple links to get to the actual article, and then so many tabs open. Okay. Let's see here. When I cannot access via library, search and request it. Go to find it myself. Okay. Just not being able to navigate easily, find keywords, and have a hard time finding the most recent and latest research. Yeah, and really, one of the things that I find is that everything that I see here right now on this page, your responses, it's very common. Like these are the types of sort of frustrations and difficulties that I think a lot of students find when, navigating the library resources or finding what you're, sort of what you need for your papers or for your research. So, um, and the reason I asked is because I'm hoping, like I can't, I mean, obviously none of us are going to be expert researchers by the end of this webinar, but I'm hoping that at least by the end of this session, you'll feel a little confident, like more confident about using the library to do more research. Um, by the end of the webinar, you'll also know how to find help when you get stuck. That's really important. And there's lots of different ways that you can find help actually. So I'll cover all of the different ways that you can sort of get help. Also, obviously we'll cover how to find books, videos, dissertations, and articles, where to find article databases, how to find the right article database for your topic. We'll also look at the differences between finding articles via OneSearch, which is our new search tool. If you've noticed the library, or if you are not a brand new student this week, you're probably familiar with our old search, which we call Discovery Search. So we have a new one, and I'll talk a little bit about the differences between OneSearch and our sort of old system, and when you would use that versus using a database like PsycInfo or some of our other subject-specific and multi-subject databases. We'll also look at how to get articles that are not available in the library. And this is really key too, especially, I think for most sort of shorter papers, discussion posts and that kind of thing, you should be able to find what you need full text in the library. However, once you get into sort of the dissertation stage, or if you're doing like a sort of a larger sort of research paper, there may be instances where you'll need to order those articles through our interlibrary loan system. So we'll cover that. All right. So I didn't provide any handouts because now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do basically a live screen sharing session with you just to show you everything. Along the way, I'll hopefully give you some tips as well on how to save time, basically doing research by giving you some tips on how to find what you're looking for more quickly or more efficiently, maybe how to get better or more relevant results. A little bit about how to also organize your research, because I know that's something that that can be really time saving as well. Given the time and scope of this webinar, we won't really look at any one particular resource in depth. The idea is to kind of just give you enough information to get started and to feel more confident in using the library in general. All right. All right, so let's go to the library website. So I'm going to navigate off this page here and take you to our website. All right. So you'll notice that we have this big search box here right in the middle of the page. This is called OneSearch, and it searches across basically all of our resources. Not quite 100%, but I'd say like 98, 99% of all of our sort of subscription content. So it'll search articles, it'll search books, both print and online books. videos, again, both the sort of DVDs that we have on our individual campuses as well as our online video collections. We also have a journal search here where you can browse journal titles. Or if you want to see if a particular journal is available full text in our library, you can use our journals link here. So a couple of things about OneSearch. Let's go ahead and let's see here. We'll do a search on college student success. And let's start out by just searching everything. I just wanted to show you a few features within our OneSearch that you might find helpful. All right, hold on, let me press search. And if you, by the way, if you can't hear me, let me know, or if I'm going too fast, you can also let me know. All right, so we have some results here, right? College student success, I just, just doing a basic search, you'll notice that I have a massive number of results, right? I mean, that's a lot. Obviously, we probably have to narrow this down a little bit. So there's lots of ways that you can do that. You'll notice that there is a way to narrow by resource type, for example. So it searches across, as I said, almost all of our databases. So you've got results for books, videos, even book chapters, dissertations, articles. You can always limit to just peer-reviewed journals if that's what you're looking for, so peer-reviewed or scholarly. If I were looking for books, so let's go ahead and click on books. All right, so now it's quite a few less results, right? So these should all be books. You'll notice that it's a mixture of both online books and books available at our individual campuses. If you're just looking for online books, you would go that extra step of just clicking here on where it says available online on the left-hand side, and then clicking apply filters. All right. So these should all be entirely online books, no print books. You can always limit it further by date. So if you're looking for more recent materials, for example, I know that was something that somebody mentioned. You know, if your results have a lot of sort of older material and you don't want to see that, you can always change the date range here. So, and this is for any materials, articles, books, and so forth. So maybe if I just want to do, I don't know, let's say the last 4 years, can click refine, and then that narrows it down even further. So now these should all be sort of newer books. You can always take the active filters that you have off if you want to. Yeah, and it always sorts by relevance. So it sort of takes your keywords and looks for, let's say, the most or the items that have those keywords either in the title first, and also kind of prioritizes the sort of newer materials. Yeah, does somebody have a question? Elaine, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
doing this today, and a couple things. I was doing the creation date, and it kind of locked in the earliest date as 2003. It wouldn't let me. I was trying to find a particular author, and I knew that they had done some work in 2002.
Uh-huh.
I kept on trying to get it to go back to 2002, but it didn't have an active box where you have an active box from the left of 2017. It was
Oh,
just,
I see.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I
didn't know.
wonder, yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if maybe you already had like maybe like take off all the filters or reset the filters and try again, or maybe refresh the page. I'd have to see it. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to just, type, the year in that box like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I know. But I kept on trying. So I don't know what was locked or why it wouldn't let me do that. Okay.
I see. Yeah. If that happens again, you can always reach out and we can troubleshoot it with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing
There might
was,
be some like kind of glitchy things with like browsers and stuff too. So we definitely want to hear any reports of stuff not working.
okay. Well, then the other one was like when you went to book here, I went to the available online where it's in green and I was
Mhm.
signed in and it took me to, I forget which, yeah, that one, EBSCO.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
this
went to get the book, the online, it didn't have like it had, well, actually it did have the full PDF text over in the left side, but then when I hit it, nothing happened. And I kept
okay.
doing it, kept trying, and finally it was like, okay, I guess I don't have access.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, again, I think we can troubleshoot those things with you if you'd like, through the chat or through email, and I'll go over like where to find that. But yeah, the EBSCO
I know where to
ebook
find it, it
sometimes
just didn't work.
I see. Yeah, well, we can troubleshoot that with you for sure. Because if it does say it's online, you should have access to it. So we'd have to
Right,
troubleshoot why it's not working for you. I
right.
know that sometimes with EBSCO, some people get kind of tripped up by it because, they say, oh, wait, well, where is the full text? You can also scroll down to where it says table of contents, and then it kind
Yeah,
of shows you
and
the
that's what I did. And I
chapters.
clicked on those and I couldn't get into those.
I see.
And I
Yeah, and
was,
then it sounds like you weren't like it wasn't authenticating you properly. So in that case, I would say just reach out to us and we can troubleshoot it with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
so is it best to just call?
Yeah, I would say for now, the best way to get a hold of us, let me go to the library website here and I'll show you. So you would go under Find Help and you can either use our chat service or you can email us. That's probably the best way right now because we're not actually on campus to receive phone calls. So that will be changing soon with the COVID restrictions lifting, and we'll be returning to campus at some point. But for now, I think those would probably be the fastest way to get a hold of us.
Yeah, the chat sometimes doesn't really put you in touch with someone who knows our system.
Yeah, yeah.
So that can be a little bit of a waste of time because then you go through the whole chat and then they're like, oh, we don't know what your system does. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and then I think the other option would be to click on Meet with a Librarian. So it'd be one of us, like me or one of the other librarians, and like pick a date and a time, and then we can do screen sharing and troubleshoot that way.
If I can recreate that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would probably work. All right. So let me go ahead and launch into a little more about OneSearch. So hold on a second. Let me go back to where we were there we go. So we were searching this college student success. We limited it to online books. I think earlier we just were looking at this particular book. All of our online books are available in various different databases, so it might look different depending on where that book is located. Um, so for example, let's kind of scroll down a little bit. Maybe let's take a look at this one. Oh, that one's in EBSCO as well. Some of them are in ProQuest, so it looks a little different. All right. So let's try the search again. Let me go back to OneSearch. You can click on this little icon here to redo the search. All right, so we're back to the huge number of results here. Now we can limit it to peer-reviewed journals. You can kind of see how that looks. Now, once you find some articles that you want to use, you can also sign in and save articles to your account. So you know that you're successfully signed in if you see your name here at the top right-hand corner. And then if you want to save items, you can just click on the little pin here and that saves it to your account. And you can view anything that you've saved here by going to your account Oops, and then go to my favorites. The nice thing here is that you can also look at your search history. You can actually save your searches. You can even personalize your results. So if you click on personalize, I already have my um, personalized results chosen, but I can edit it here just to kind of show you what that looks like. So it's really broad, but you can personalize your results by basically discipline. So if you're looking for articles just within the realm of psychology, for example, you can personalize your results to just see those psychology items. You can pick more than one. You can actually pick up to 5 different disciplines. So maybe social sciences or education, sociology, um, medicine. I think psychology, for example, also crosses over into the medical field. So you can look at that. And then once you've chosen the disciplines that you want to personalize, you can click Save Changes. There we go. And now my results are personalized. You can further personalize your results here by clicking on Prefer Newer Material. That way, your results at the top will be newer, or it sort of floats those newer items to the top. All right. All right, so that's one search. There's lots of different ways that you can also search within one search. For example, if you wanted to put, like, let's say you're looking for a particular article, you can always enter the citation into the search box. So let me go ahead and find let's see here. I'm going to type, or actually I'm just going to cut and paste a citation into the search box. And usually it works. It'll just pull up the particular item that I'm looking for. If you only have the DOI of the article that you're looking for, you can also enter the DOI number. So let's see here. Let me search again, put a DOI number in there. I think it actually started with a 1. Wait, is that it? Oh, maybe that wasn't the right one. Hold on, let me recopy that. All right, let me try that again. There we go. All right, so that pulled up the article. So that's another advantage of using one search. It's a really quick way to find a particular item if you're or if you're trying to find a particular item. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the library website. I just wanted to show you a couple other things. So you might be wondering what's the difference between using one search and, let's say, like some of our databases like PsycInfo or Medline. So even though one search searches across like basically all of our different resources, or at least most of them, there are some disadvantages to it. I think, like as we saw earlier, sometimes you'll get like a lot of results. You're sort of limited in the ways that you can sort of refine your search. Databases, on the other hand, can be really great if you're doing sort of more in-depth research because they have a lot of sort of bells and whistles that you won't find in one search. So I just want to show you that. So databases A through Z you can find right here under the research tab here. All right, so this lists actually all of our different subscription resources. If you click here on database types, you'll see that we have all types of sort of specialized resources. So a lot of these are article databases, but you can also find databases that contain like case studies, for example, data sets, dictionaries. We've got dissertation databases. If you scroll down a little bit, if you're looking for specialized types of information like market reports, of course, videos, testing materials. You can find those here under database types. You can also sort by subject. So if you're looking for databases on a particular topic, you can do that here. So if we wanted to look at psychology, for example, we can click here on psychology and counseling. Sort of floats those recommended databases at the top. Of course, we can further narrow it down by type. So maybe I'm just looking for articles, so I can click here on articles, and that shows me the top databases with articles. And really the most, like in psychology, I think the best database here is going to be PsycInfo. That's one that I go to over and over again if it has anything to do with psychology. So as far as those bells and whistles that I was telling you about earlier, so it has quite a lot of them that you might find really helpful. So if you scroll down, for example, you'll see that you can limit to like methodology, for example. So if you're looking for like, let's say empirical studies or case studies, or maybe you just want to look at like meta-analyses or a particular, or maybe a systematic review, you can do that. You can also limit by age group here, population. You can also limit to a particular location because PsycInfo, for example, is very international in scope. You can zero in on a particular region, anywhere in the world, really. You can also look up like tests and measures. So it's really like pretty, there's a lot of possibilities here, right, for sort of narrowing in on what you're looking for. Another tool that I love to use in these individual, particularly subject-specific databases is all of them should have like a thesaurus. And those can be really helpful too. So for example, if I'm doing a study, let's say on some aspect of resilience, maybe resilience among adolescents during COVID. I mean, certainly I can type resilience as a keyword, right? And I'll definitely get some results. But there might be some other keywords that are very similar or mean similar things to resilience. So what I can do is I can go to the thesaurus and I can type in resilience. Oops. Helps if you spell it right. All right, so it looks like this is a particular term used in this database, right, as a subject term. If I click on this little note, you'll see that there are, well, there's a little note and then some related terms. So if I wanted to do a search on resilience, I can click here. That'll add that to my search, and maybe I'll add like coping behavior, emotional adjustment, and let's say psychological stress. I mean, those aren't like psychological stress, for example, isn't the same thing as resilience, but um, you know, maybe it's like an aspect that I'm interested in. So I can click add to search, and now it's going to search for all of those subjects, like either emotional adjustment or coping behavior or resilience or psychological stress. Now I can add another keyword. Let's say I wanted to do something on COVID. So again, COVID is also SARS-CoV-2. It's also a pandemic. You know, there's lots of keywords that we can use, or we could go to the thesaurus and just look at up COVID or COVID-19. Looks like it is in this database as a subject. So we could click that. So that encompasses all those different sort of variations of, you know, like SARS-CoV-2 and so forth. We can also click pandemic. That'll include other pandemics, obviously, but, you know, maybe for my topic, that's appropriate. And then I'll click add to search. And then I can always, you know, sort of narrow it down to adolescents, for example, here under age group. And then I'll click, oops, click search. All right, so I've got a few results here. PsycInfo is a database that includes mostly peer-reviewed articles. I think it was like 80% peer-reviewed articles and then 20% dissertations and book chapters. You can always narrow it down further here on the left-hand side. Most databases have different ways that you can narrow down your search on the left. So either by date range, by subject, which is really helpful sometimes, and so forth. All right, any questions so far? Yeah, and I really just wanted to point this out very quickly as just sort of like, some of the advantages really of using the databases versus using OneSearch. And really what I tell students is like, if you're not sure where to search, go ahead and use OneSearch, right? To find, a few quick articles or books or videos on your topic. And then once you're sort of doing more in-depth research, or maybe you're not finding what you're looking for, or maybe you're getting too many results using OneSearch, then I would suggest using one of these databases here under databases A through Z. All right. A couple other things I wanted to point out too, actually. So one of the resources, hopefully it'll be available in OneSearch soon, but under videos, I wanted to point out, we have a lot of actually video resources here in the library on a really wide variety of topics, including therapy and counseling videos, and we've got our DSM-5 videos and so forth, business videos, health videos. But one of my kind of favorite collections, if you haven't seen it yet, I always like to point this out as our Canopy streaming collection. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and kind of briefly show it to you. So Canopy is a really great collection of all kinds of content. So we've got like documentaries, but also films. So we've got world cinema, a lot of stuff from like PBS and BBC, HBO documentary films. Um, and the way that like they always kind of organize it sort of by topic sometimes. So this front page always looks a little different each time you go there. Got some videos on race, ethnicity, and identity, and so forth. You can always browse right here. So you browse like different topics here. So I always like to point this out because it's got a lot of fun content on here in addition to that sort of academic content as well. So yeah, it is really awesome. And we encourage you to use it. Like it's just one of those resources that we have in the library that I sort of consider hidden. Like it's just not like obvious that we have um, this resource. And for those of you who have missed like how we get there, you can either go to database, well, really the easiest way is to go to databases A through Z, and then either go to streaming videos here. Or if you already know, I want to go to Canopy, you can just click on K for Canopy, and then you can click on it here. All right. Yeah, I always like to point that out. But we do have other types of video collections in the library as well. So, you can feel free to browse those. I mean, you can use either OneSearch or, as I said, you can go to databases A through Z and look at our streaming video collections that way. All right. So what else did I want to point out? Earlier, we were talking about articles that are not available full text. So, you'll find that sometimes, I mean, usually when you do a search in OneSearch, it'll actually give you full text articles in your first set of results. So again, if we were doing like college student success, peer reviewed, you'll notice that pretty much all the results that you get are full text. Oh, wait a second. Let's see here. Try that again. All right. So yeah, they're mostly online if you're looking for articles, but you can always expand your results. That might give you some results too that are not full text. So you can always request those through interlibrary loan, or ILL is what we call it, or interlibrary loan. There's also a link here on the main library page under My Accounts and your interlibrary loan account. So it's a free service through the library. You can request anything that is basically not available in the library. So that includes articles, book chapters, although right now you cannot request entire print books and videos through interlibrary loan. We're just not set up to do that right now because of COVID and other reasons, since we're not on campus. But we will definitely announce at some point when that service is back or available again. All right, we've got a question here. Let me take a look here. All right, so can you show us how to get to Sage videos as well, as there was a database of case studies that was highlighted? Ah, good question. So Sage, again, you can go to databases A through Z, and you can go to database type. So I think you can also actually go to vendors here and just limit to Sage. That would be one way to do that. And these are all of our Sage resources. So we've got our Sage business cases right here. Sage research methods, Sage research methods cases. Here's our Sage research methods video. I wasn't sure if that maybe was what you were looking for, or if it was in our case studies. It might be in our case studies right here. Yeah, wasn't sure if that was exactly it or if it was the video research methods. Yeah, we've also got a Sage video counseling and psychotherapy collection, social work collection, sociology. I mean, there's really just so much in here. So that's probably, I think, is that what you were looking for? Let me take a look here. Ah, yeah, vendor search definitely provides more options. So yeah. And if you're ever like not sure about where to find a particular resource, I mean, you can always, go to our Find Help and use our chat service. If the person on chat is not able to answer your question, you can always ask them to create a ticket, and then one of the librarians will follow up with you as soon as possible. So our turnaround time is actually usually pretty quick with our chat service and with our tickets. Our chat service, although I am on there as much as I can be, and so are the other librarians, our chat service tends to be answered a lot by our graduate assistants as well. So while they're really helpful, there are instances where they may not know, the answer to a question. So as I said, they can create a ticket. You can also email us, or as I said, you can meet with a librarian here and create or book an appointment. And really, our book appointment or make an appointment service is for really like anything that requires a little bit more time. So, you know, maybe you have a paper coming up and you're just not finding enough resources on your topic, or you're not sure what keywords to use, or maybe you're doing an initial search for your dissertation topic, or maybe you just want to get an overview of like research strategies. We can help with any of that. So you can book an appointment for half an hour up to a whole entire hour if that's what you need. I know some of our students in dissertation will book a whole hour, and that could be really helpful. So, and I always tell students to like feel free, to reach out to us because that's really like what we're here for. And honestly, for myself, and I think I can speak for the rest of the librarians here as well, is that's our favorite, that's at least my favorite part of my job is helping students. So, don't feel shy about asking for help. If you do want help sort of offline, we also have some great options here under Find Help and Research Guides. So if you click on Research Guides, we've got research guides on just about any topic here. We're still updating these, so some of them are a little older. Hopefully we'll have those updated soon. So for example, under psychology, just wanted to show you that one because that one was kind of newly updated. It'll give you some great information on sort of where to get started, what are your best bets for psychology resources. So I got that question earlier about what database is best for your topic. Well, our research guides should help with that because it'll say like, what are the absolute top databases? It'll give you information on like background, like, encyclopedias, handbooks, and that kind of thing. Where to find books, videos. Here we've got tests and measures, like how to find an unpublished test for your dissertation, for example, research methods, how to stay current in your field, and so forth. Another research guide that I wanted to point out that I find really helpful, because I know earlier when I did that poll about, sort of either how to find keywords or, I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for, or I get too many results. Got a really great research guide here under Research and Writing Support and Guide to Searching. So basically it kind of goes over sort of like, keywords versus subject searching, how to use Boolean searching. We've got a little video here on our OneSearch. Additional search options like how to use, like, for example, phrase searching or truncation, wildcards, all of that, like super, sort of advanced sort of search techniques. You can take a look at these and sort of improve your search. I've got this really great video here too on, I think it's, yeah, right here under keyword versus subject searching. And there's a little quick video here on how subject terms could be used in a search, for example. So you can take a look at that. And this is kind of, again, like one of our sort of more hidden resources. I think a lot of people kind of overlook that we have these guides, but they can be really helpful. All right, so those are our research guides. We've also got some interesting like community guides, like our anti-oppression guide, which is kind of great. It's got some stuff on like anti-racism and so forth. And then video tutorials or FAQs are really great. So these are just sort of quick questions like, how do I use interlibrary loan? Or what is new with our OneSearch tool and so forth. So again, you can find those under Find Help. And then we've also got some other options here listed for like writing and tutoring options, as well as other types of academic support. All right, so I know that was a really like quick overview of the resources that we have in the library. At this point, does anybody have any questions? Anything else I can kind of show you? I hope that was helpful, even though I know that was kind of a, as I said, a really brief overview of the library. And you can either raise your hand and I can unmute you, or you can type your question into the search or into the question box or chat box. No questions? All right. Well, I'm showing this slide because I kind of thought it was fun. This is kind of like what I show sort of our newer students. So if I asked our graduate assistants, if you were giving one piece of advice to a new student about the library, what would you tell them? And it was kind of fun to see what their answers were. Um, and definitely, it's like, it's worth it to ask the library staff questions if you're stuck at any point. Definitely take advantage of the library chat, take advantage of interlibrary loan because it's a free service that's available to you. Definitely utilize all of the services that are offered. So I just thought I'd share that with you. All right, well, if there aren't any other questions, I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for participating. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was informative. I'll stick around for a few more minutes in case anyone has any questions. Otherwise, feel free to email us too if maybe you have some questions later or set up an appointment or um, yeah, I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you so much.